we're gonna go start our room today with Timur Pertenava. My biggest fear is pronouncing you guys' name incorrectly today. So he is a commercial director for Nordics and Baltics at Retten, and today he's gonna talk about future-proofing global connectivity, trends, threats, and tactics for a resilient network.
And really excited to be on the very first BalticNOG event and to be opening this track here in the cozy room. Thanks for joining. And please don't get offended. I've got some notes, so I will be looking into my notes. So yeah, Vincentas just opened the event with the idea of knowledge creation. And I will try to share some knowledge I've got. I've been with the industry for 20 years, and half of the time precisely I spent with Retten. We built international networks, and when I joined Retten, I was working for the Finnish company, mobile company, who had some network for sure. And I was very self-confident that I know everything. But what I realized that as an IP engineer, I take things for granted. I mean, when I have one equipment installed in Kouvola, where I live, and where TikTok is now building their data center, to Helsinki or whatever, I just expect things to be working. And I learned a lot how they are working. And hopefully I can share some of that experience with you now during this session. So to the point, is there anyone here in the room who works for the mobile company? Please stay silent now. So the question is to the others. What percentage of traffic do you think is going over the fiber when you just call to your auntie or to your mother to the other side of Vilnius? Just any ideas? Yeah. So the common concept is it's like over 90%, that's correct. In my view, it's almost everything, because besides just some local within one base station conversation, everything goes over the terrestrial, usually fiber lines. And the next question, what percentage of intercontinental traffic goes over the sea cables? Yeah, we've got all that Starlinks, all the satellites, geostationary satellites, but what do you think is the number? Yeah, almost 100. So telegeography is a well-reputable source, and they think it's like over 99, and it's close to 100, to be honest. Yeah. And here, during this session, I will try to tell you about how vulnerable this infrastructure is and how to deal with that. Retten as a company is very well experienced with building fiber networks. So we've got a lot of fiber in operation, that much. We've got a lot of POPs, points of presence. We've got quite a lot of traffic. And according to CAIDA, we are now on 10th position globally for interconnectivity. So I presume I know what I will be speaking about. Another thing, have you ever heard of Black Swan concept, Black Swan event concept? Yeah, I see someone is nodding. So there is Black Swan and there is Gray Rhino concept. With Black Swan is something happened in the world, usually something really bad, which no one could have predicted. And the gray rhino is basically the same, but some folks just saying, okay, I could saw it coming. So, and during the last few years, 5 years, we've been seeing a lot of these black swan and gray rhino events, starting from COVID pandemic, going to the war in Ukraine, and Red Sea cable cuts, Asian cable cuts in general, Baltic Sea cable cuts, right? And all of these events affected telecommunications in one way or another. Uh, for instance, COVID just had dramatic impact on everyone. We we had a trust issues, to be honest, as a company. We never trusted anyone to touch our equipment because we want our engineers to be our engineers who deal with our stuff. And we had to learn fast uh, because we used just to have I used to have some warehouse in Kovala where I live, and whenever something happened I just grab some piece of equipment, take the closest flight to wherever, and deliver that piece of equipment to fix the issue. And it just overnight it became not the case, so we had to improvise, to be creative. This some lessons we learned from COVID we successfully used in Ukraine. We just Ukraine used to be very connected to Europe, to Poland, but also a big bunch of traffic were going through Russia, and it just became basically not the case overnight by understandable reasons. So we stashed Ukraine with some spare parts, and we survived the beginning of the war by allowing no cities to be disconnected from the internet, even with like amplification sites destroyed, fiber affected in the war zone areas, which couldn't be reached to fix. And uh, I will be focusing on the uh, sea cable cuts, and the next one is what's network security. I was promised to be with the network security track. So I will define really quick the network security. So basically, when we have data in transmission, we make sure it arrives where it should, it cannot be stolen, and it is not modified. That's basically three elephants of the network security. And I will be speaking about network availability and resilience, which corresponds to this. So in the world, like 99% of traffic goes over the sea cables, right? And it would have been very great and ideal if there would have been like unlimited amount of possible routes over the ocean. And sometimes it's the case, like in Atlantic Sea, Atlantic Ocean, and Pacific Ocean, you can lay cables in a lot of ways. But also in some places, like Red Sea, um, exactly the same way as international cargo deliveries goes over the Suez Channel and over the Red Sea, a lot, a lot of cables goes over the Red Sea. If something happens, it could be intentional, like Houthi attacks, or it can be just an anchor drop, whatever, and this cable gets damaged, we are in a trouble. And the same thing in Singapore, around Singapore, and similar thing about Taiwan. I will be talking about Taiwan in the next one. So yeah, as you can see, just during this year, there have been a lot of issues with Taiwan, and yeah, surprise, surprise, Taiwan is an island and it's surrounded by water, so no other options available. Um, and unlike some others, we have had 5 different fiber routes in use, going in and out of the island. Uh, but yeah, we noticed that. And again, the network survived and keeps surviving, but we consider adding even more to that 5 routes in existence. The reason for the cuts is, um, first of all, in that region there is usual but high seismical activity. So there are a lot of earthquakes which cause troubles, and also it is alleged to have some um, sabotages as well. And the problem with Taiwan and with these like enormous amounts of days to fix the issue is that it's not that easy just to go and fix it. You should get the permission to go with your cable ship and fix it. And with some tension between China and Taiwan, it's not easy. Um, Another thing is like Europe to Asia, which is Red Sea incidents. There have been a lot of them, again, also during the last year, during this year. And yeah, some of them fixed relatively quickly, some of them not, but just to consider every incident cause some troubles to someone. And a lot of financial data um, goes through that route, and it affects everyone. So what's other options if we imagine all of sea cables will be cut? What could we do? The most obvious solution is just to go over the different ocean towards US. Another option would be via Africa, but Africa is bigger than it seems on the map, so the distance is just enormous. Um, if we assume we go over the US, the route from Hong Kong to Frankfurt, which is usual, your trading, financial information exchange route, it increases from 165 milliseconds, which you basically you barely notice it when you call by phone. That kind of delay is fine, and it raises to 274 milliseconds coarsely. Uh, and you already can notice it when you talk to between people, but the systems notice it like by a lot. So the other option is to go over terrestrial. So if we go from, oh, it doesn't work. Oh. If we go from Hong Kong via China and Kazakhstan, and through Russia and Europe, and in Europe, by Europe I mean Baltics, we cut the latency to 143 milliseconds round trip. So that's even better. And that's our option. We invested into fully terrestrial network from here to the China and to the Hong Kong. And during these disruptions, we just reroute all the traffic to that route. Yeah, and we are here in Baltics, so let's talk about Baltics. Um, the most obvious issue we've got here with the interconnection is that most of the available terrestrial routes to Poland and beyond go through Suwalki. And we like I think there are some people here who actually noticed that during railway and highway construction, there have been numerous problems with that route. And beyond that, in this political situation, like 25 kilometers from Belarus is also something to consider. All the cables on the northern part of Baltics, all the cables towards Sweden and Finland uh, goes over the Baltic Sea, obviously. No other options available. And I will be showing you some statistics about that. It is a point of concern. Uh, the next one is that a lot of connectivity in the region is focused to just basically one location per capital city. And like I didn't open it up, but you know what J13 is, right? And you know it's Yusupavich is 13 here in Vilnius, and it's closing up. And kudos to everyone who builds own data centers here. I will say you thank you in the next coffee break, but it shouldn't be like that, right? We should have more diversity. Uh, Again, TV tower in Riga, which is on the island. Yeah, it's two on the island, and in the past there have been full power outage to many of the customers. So again, diversity is important. There is nothing 100% solid in terms of resiliency. And Silly 14, in Tallinn actually it's a little bit better situation because they've got Silly 14, they've got Adala nearby. So it's a little bit better, but still it's, I think it's quite a point of concern. Yeah, and another thing I put here is no hyperscaler grade DCs to be built out. Uh, why is that? I mean, why this is important for us? Because with the hyperscaler grade DCs build outs, they also bring some infrastructure with them. I mean, everyone who knows Google will be um, building their DC in Hamina. Everyone rushes with their fiber there, over the sea, over the land. Like, so it helps the whole industry, not just Google, obviously. So yeah, to the Baltic Sea cable cuts, I will not be like analyzing every event. You have seen that from the media a lot, and some of that information is correct. So, but just look into the sheer amount of the troubles all this event cost us, and yeah, it's just insane how vulnerable this infrastructure is. Because during the this, for instance, 4 fiber cables, 1 energy transmission, power transmission cables, 1 more fiber cables owned by a Russian company were damaged, and the very like next month, another cable from between the different countries was also damaged. So yeah, that's something to consider, right? And diving into the latest event, which is LVRTC owned cable from Ventspils to Sweden over Gotland. I just take this one as an example. Uh, I guess because we handled it very good. So the whole cable cut was for 32 days, but because of the good network redundancy, there haven't been any interruption for the internet backbone, at least with our network, with Reton. So like for instance, the traffic from Riga to Stockholm just was being rerouted to the Helsinki and then to Stockholm, easy peasy. And then for protected capacity, like DWDM-based services, again, there was no interruption. For unprotected DWDM capacity, our guys were able to reroute manually, either via Finland or via Poland, depending on what was the destination of the circuits. And these guys, LVRTC, they were really persistent in fixing that. But the tricky part is that just a month before, there was how much? How many? 5, right? 4 plus 1 cable cuts between between Finland and Estonia, I'm sorry. And, LVRTC obviously had to wait in the queue for fixing that. So it's not that straightforward. You cannot just, send some divers to fix it. You need to actually raise the cable from the seabed, take it to the cable ship, and fix it and weld it. And sometimes you need to add another piece of cable. And sometimes it's really hard to find the cable on the seabed. It can be like among the stones or whatever. And here is some comparison between terrestrial and submarine cables. So what I'm trying to show here, that if we could keep all the infrastructure terrestrial, it would have been just great. But unfortunately, geography is what it is. We have a lot of water on the Earth. So yeah, subsea cable cut, 40 days if extremely lucky. Sometimes it's a few weeks if it's really close, and like in Baltic Sea, it usually takes much less than that if it's just one cable damage. But still, terrestrial cable cut, 4 to 12 hours normally. So normally within the same day or within the next night after the business hours. And it's relatively easy to fix. And if you get unlucky, it's maybe up to 24 hours, but it's very seldom beyond 24 hours. Terrestrial cables, the route I've mentioned over China, Hong Kong to China to Kazakhstan and to here, it's usually protected. So usually there are 2 routes, and all the traffic is protected by default because terrestrial cables are cut quite frequently. So you can expect 1 or 2 cable cuts on our network of our scale every day. So we need to think things ahead. And yeah, when you get terrestrial fiber cut, you can reposition some equipment to the other available route. You can upgrade the remaining route, and it's relatively easy. With the sea cables, as Ben mentioned before, it is really hard. It's very fixed and closed up system, and some like in most of the times you just can't upgrade it easily, and you definitely cannot shorten the regeneration segments, which helps also to add capacity. So it's almost always a game between capacity and the distance when it comes to one regeneration segment. I will not be diving into the technical details. So what I'm trying to say, we should think about route planning in advance. We considered power transmission lines as extremely reliable, right? They are. We considered railway lines extremely reliable. They are. But if these infrastructure objects are being destroyed intentionally, you will get fiber to be destroyed as a collateral damage. And we are reconsidering what they think. And for instance, now we are building a route between Tallinn and Cesis, and it's mostly going like between the villages. So it's not the shortest one. It will be definitely not the most reliable one short term, but it's not connected to any major infrastructure. Yeah, some survival tips. Basically, it's like in a nutshell what I already mentioned. Ensure you've got a lot of diversity in every aspect. Different POPs, different routes, different vendors, but don't forget about interoperability. If you want these vendors to be interchangeable, prepare in advance. And when the time comes, be creative about combining different vendors, different technologies together to for the network to survive. Yeah, sometimes I mean I can blame myself for that. I was completely unaware how this works. 10 years ago, I wasn't even thinking about that every 100 kilometers you must have an amplifier, right? And these amplifier locations are very much vulnerable also. So we had seen the amplifier site just destroyed in Ukraine or cut out of electricity, and there is no way to fix it. Spare parts, I was talking about that. Spread it, put some actual like working equipment into the chassis just in case you need it, because sometimes you just can't deliver it fast over the plane. And the most important thing, keep your people creative, stay open for their ideas, and keep them well educated and trained. So if actual disruption event comes, you can be, you can be flexible. You can fix things very fast. And yeah, major takeaways from our own experience. If something happens, don't assume you will not, like as a network operator, when some other operator network fails, you just see a spike of traffic. So you can easily get 2x of traffic into your own network. So make sure you have enough headroom for that. If some cable get damaged, again, the cable operator could just stay in the line for months. And yeah, don't assume any cable cut will be fixed in a few days. And again, about the cable cuts, one cable system gets down, another cable systems are struggling with adding capacity. So don't assume if one cable system supplier will fail, another one will support you in days. Most likely you will be waiting for months for that upgrade. And yeah, obvious thing, more routes increase services survival rate. Thanks very much. If you feel like it, please look into the source list I used. And thanks to my colleague Sam from Hong Kong, who provided statistics about Taiwan and Singapore. Thank you.
Thank you, Timur. Do we have any questions for Mr. Timur? Nothing.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, go ahead.
Yes. It wasn't targeted to the site. So the question was to everyone, the question was the damage of the site, was it intentional in Ukraine for the amplification sites? It wasn't targeted. I don't think it was targeted on the site, but it was just accidentally damaged by the bombing, something like that. And we saw it, I think, more than one time. We've got some pictures, and that I'm devastated to see. To be honest, I don't know. Most probably it was just like equipment was replaced, because to build the other side would have taken too much time. What about, sorry? Usually it's like container building, and it was burned. So when it was just burned, probably they could save the container itself, but just replace what's inside.
Okay, go ahead.
I will find out, and I will find you.
Thanks for the talk. You were mentioning about your subsea cables sometimes taking months or weeks. Everybody I've spoken to who have capacity on subsea cables still has to pay for the cable when the cable is down, and sometimes the cables can be down for years if it's, for example, cut in the Hong Kong Bay. How do you handle this? Like, surely you're on the hook for quite a lot of money for services that will never be rendered. I never understand how any carrier can make this work.
Yes, it's a good question, and it's very real. I mean, it depends on your negotiation skills as well as your planning skills. But you are totally right. If we experience a sea cable cut, in many cases, network operator still has to pay for that unusable service, non-existent service.
Okay, so we have time for one more question. Go ahead, Ernestus. No, this.
Sorry. So security is important for Retina, and I was wondering if your cables go through China and maybe Kazakhstan and Russia,
Also Russia.
How do you ensure that cables are not spliced by the unfriendly governments?
Yes, good question. How DWDM works is that DWDM systems nowadays use very tricky modulation, and it's we haven't heard of possibility of breaking that modulation apart without disrupting the whole traffic. So what we do to prevent that, we don't regenerate inside Russia. So when we go over Russia, it basically means that we take spectrum from our partner in Russia, and it goes just straight over the country. We are not converting it into readable signals like 100 Gs or 400 Gs, whatever. And but as probably a solid advice here would be not to rely on any operator infrastructure to keep your information safe. So even that, I think personally that it's impossible now to break out of the modulation. But eventually it might become possible. And who knows, maybe there is some technology which actually allows you to store that like in analog way, but I can't think of it. So probably you better use MACsec or IPsec to be like 100% safe.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Timur.
Thank you.